buenos dias. Wake up, wake up. You already know Omni Cosmic in the house. Thankful Thursday. Come on in, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It's early. I'm gonna wait for the 2-minute mark. That's the mark that I set myself, that people come online, or the people, I don't know, scroll and see me. So I'll wait. Still unable to sleep, but that's neither here nor there. I got energy. Plus I got my energy drink, which is some coffee. But you know how that goes. The quicker it comes, the quicker it goes. That's just the way it is. Oh yeah. I see no changes. Wake up in the morning, then I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? It's by Tupac, by the way. That's not what I'm saying, because you can't say nothing nowadays. Because y'all ain't mean. Wake up, wake up. Buenos dias, buenos dias. Yeah, yeah. Today's Thankful Thursday. I am thankful for being alive, breathing, seeing, touching, smelling, experiencing. I'm able to walk. I am disease free, so fast, so good. And I'm grateful for those things. I'm grateful for the people that come in and make comments and like and things of that nature. I appreciate people I appreciate me trying to help people, trying to help me at the same time. So I'm going to split screen real soon. I know yesterday was kind of slow in terms of reacts, you know, people coming in and commenting or whatever. The interaction was kind of slow. So I don't know the energy, but I'm feeling it. I feel everything. Buenos dias, buenos dias. Come on in, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You already know. Wake up. Hi. However you say that. Hello. Buenos dias. Thank you for saying hello. I appreciate you. So here we are again. Love your soul, not your role, where we listen twice and we speak once. Wake up. Come on in, like, share, subscribe. My name is Omni Cosmic. You already know. May knowledge fulfill you and may wisdom guide you. Police is rocking early today. Bingo. Something's going on. Got police running up and down the street here in Central Florida. I got the air on so you guys may hear it. It's muggy. It's muggy today. So come on in, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm about to split the screen. Yesterday we had a conversation. We were talking about what was introduced in the conversation was the word wisdom, meaning Sophia, what she represents, and that spiritual knowledge, soul type of information I love to discuss. So with that being said, discuss that. There were 2 words in there, a couple of more words, but these are the ones that I wanted to break down just a little bit, is creation and emanation. I'm going to split my screen. I'm going to talk about it real quick so you can know the difference, because it's important. Loving your soul, not your role, has to do with knowing, not believing. You don't believe. If there's something that sparks my interest and I look at it and I say, I want to know what this is about, I don't want to believe. I don't want to live my life believing. I want to live my life knowing. So let's split the screen. So Thankful Thursday, what are you thankful for? Take some time. Let's do the shoulder roll. We like doing the shoulder rolls. Loosen us up. It's like smoking a cigarette. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You already know. Wake up. Cosmic in the house, love you so much. You know, we'll listen twice and speak once. Okay, so Thankful Thursday, emanation versus creation. This is what we're talking about because it was part of the conversation that we had yesterday concerning wisdom. Emanation and creation are 2 contrasting philosophical and theological concepts that explain how the universe came into existence. from a ultimate source or divine being. Now, just look at it this way: if you were not transported or transcended or came here, I don't know, if you weren't in this reality, you would be in another reality. That's a fact, because you are an energy source that is continuous. Energy doesn't die; it converts, it changes into something else. Now that's a whole nother aspect of, science and discovery and research, which we can do, right? So if you didn't come here, you could have gone somewhere else, so that would have been your reality, right? Like in your dreams. In your dreams, when you're dreaming, that is your reality at the moment. But because you come to and you've been identified, or you've been indoctrinated and conditioned to believe that's only a dream, that's false. Because if you were actually there, you were there. You weren't there. Say you weren't there, like, obviously you weren't there physically, but you were. It was a projection of you. So that's real stuff. It's not fantasy. It's not fantastical. That's real. That did happen. You were there. However, your spirit decided to be part of that experience, what the purpose of that experience was, why you were put in that reality. It's for a message, to give a message. It's either usually one of the two, to give a message, and normally it's to receive a message. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. So let's continue. The core difference lies in how the universe is made. Emanation is an involuntary flowing extension of the source's own substance. I'm going to say that again. Emanation is an involuntary flowing extension of the source's own substance, while creation is a deliberate, intentional act that produces something entirely separate from the maker. You want me to read that again? I'm going to read it again. So we're discussing emanation versus creation. The core difference lies in how the universe is made. I think that's kind of, that's probably needs to be removed, because if they're saying that emanation is part of the source, then it has nothing to do with the universe being made, right? That source created something under it. Let's just say under it, just to have a physical understanding of it, right? As above, so below, so within, so without. May knowledge guide you and wisdom. May knowledge fulfill you and wisdom guide you. So I'm going to read it again. The core difference between emanation and creation lies in how the universe is made. Emanation is an involuntary flowing extension of the source's own substance, while creation is a deliberate, intentional act that produces something entirely separate from the maker. So this can go back to the story of the Bible, how Jesus Christ came into emanation. He wasn't created, because for him to be created, it had to be intentional. Someone had to have sex with Mary in order for her to have Jesus Christ. But that didn't happen. It was a divine emanation. So that's what gives Jesus Christ the godlike, which is a limitation still and so, not being created, but being emanated involuntarily. Voluntarily creating, you can't emanate something voluntarily. It has to be a creation. So there's not a similarity, but an explanation, or I can't find the word, but core differences. Emanation, creation, volition, involuntary, happens by natural necessity. Voluntary happens by deliberate choice. Okay? Substance made out of the source's own essence. DEO. I'm gonna figure out what that means, but it does have like a Spanish Greek meaning. Made of. So XDO means made of nothing. Example, DO is made of nothing. So that's like a prefix, I suppose. We'll look it up. I'm gonna look those up. So that's gonna be something we can discuss tomorrow. Made of nothing, ex nihilo, or existing matter. So something that already exists and something that comes out of that matter involuntarily, that wasn't a choice to be created and separated from that natural source. Okay, separation, the universe remains connected to the source. So that emanation is still connected. The creation is not, because the creation is separate from the emanation. So the emanation was the creator of the created. That makes sense. The universe is completely distinct from the creator. So the creator, like you, so you're distinct from the universe because of your separation. What is your separation? Your separation is the material world. Once the material world has disappeared, basically when you transcend, then you are what? What are you now? Where are you now? Why do you exist in that plane, and what do you need to do in order to become still part of that source? Because now you have no barrier. There's no barrier now. Because this is the barrier. All this artificial intelligence that's on this planet is the barrier from you and the source. You got to get back to that. And you can only do that through transcendence, but you can train and learn through knowledge, through knowing, right? You can't transcend not knowing what's going to happen and where you're going to go and then expect things to be, lovely. Now, if it's a natural transcendence, well, it doesn't have to be a natural transcendence. It could be whatever. However, if you're aware of how you transcend and where you're going to go and where you came from, first and foremost, that's knowing. And you will go back to the knowing. All right? Okay, the mechanism. The universe is not built. It overflows. The source, often called the one, is so perfect that abundant that reality naturally spills out of it. Right? So it's a natural. So that's like you. Your reality spills out of you through your creation in your mind. Right? In your imagination. And then you affect the physics of life by creating in your mind what is outside of you because it is your universe. You understand? It's the separation from the source, which is the inner source of you. Right? The one, which is what they call it. The hierarchy. As the energy flows further from the source, it decreases in perfection. So as you flow away, so the perfection is your mother, right? And your father. As you flow away from them, all of those ideas and indoctrinations and conditions and rules and regulations begin the further you get away from the source, which is your parents. You begin to experience life, you begin to learn different things and see different things. Now you become impure, you become less perfect from what they are because of your experiences and your distance, not just in physical reality, but also in consciousness and subconsciousness, right? You learn new things. So now you become unpure to the source of your emanation, right? Think of it, here's an example. Think of it like this. Heat fading, the further you move away from the campfire, the further you move, that's what it is. So the campfire is perfectly hot. The further you move away from it, the more imperfectly hot it is, the more colder it becomes. So that's the hierarchy. That's how that works. So the highest levels are purely spiritual, while the lowest, outermost levels is physical matter, which is evil, right? That's what it's called. Life, living, lived. Okay, so the key person in this whole philosophy is Plotinus, Plotinus, 3rd century CE, is the primary architect of emanation theory. He argued that the ultimate source does not lose anything or diminish when it emanates reality, just as the sun does not lose light by shining. It's continuous. I'm going to read that again. So this Plotinus argued that ultimate source does not lose anything or diminish when it emanates reality, because reality pours out of it, but it's consistent. It stays the same. It doesn't lose anything, just like the sun doesn't lose any light. So creation comes from the Latin word creer. I know the Spanish language. That it's not Latin, but Spanish language comes from it. It's created from that language. So creer meaning to make or produce. Okay, creer is C-R-E-A-R-E. The universe exists because a conscious creator explicitly willed it to exist, which is you. You willed to exist in this plane for some reason. That is what you have to figure out. It requires a specific starting point in time. So your birth. That's your starting point in time, let's just say. But prior to, you were consciously thinking about coming here. You just had to make some changes and adjustments, like get rid of your memory. The soul of the spirit of your soul, the soul of your spirit was already part of your mother. You was ingested into your mom, and that's when you acquired your soul. So you didn't come with this. So your soul, your spirit is part of your mom. Your soul is what you are, right? So when you came in, your spirit was part of your mother, and then when you came into your mother, blasted out from your father, the Big Bang Theory. It's a whole nother story. Then you became one. So that's the Holy Trinity right there, all over again. I'll talk about the number three. The Holy Trinity right there, which is your soul. Your mom is the life of spirit, which is the spirit, and then you have the physical. So when you come together, right? Okay, that's another way of looking at creation. You already emanated. You're already a source. You created this reality. You came into the spirit of this realm, and you became one. You became the Trinity of your experience. The separation, because the Creator makes the universe out of nothing, creato y nihilo, the Creator and the creation do not share the same substance. I'm going to say that again. Because the Creator makes the universe out of nothing, creatio, it's the words, and nihilo, so creation and nothing is nihilo, means nothing. The Creator and the creation do not share the same substance. A painting is made by an artist, but the painting is not made of the artist. You get it? Wake up, wake up. We learning something today. You're going to learn something today. We're going to learn something today. We learned something yesterday about wisdom. We learned something today about emanation and creation, the difference. And tomorrow we're going to break down nihilo, and which is nothing, and creation. Wake up, wake up. You already know, love your soul, not your role. Listen twice and speak once. May knowledge fulfill you, and may wisdom guide you. Great information. This is knowing. This is the know. So how do you know this is true? Just look at. You gotta be aligned to understand the truthfulness of this knowing. This is knowing. This is explaining what is not explained in religion. In religion they call it miracles. Here you use specific words, which are swords, that have actual meaning that you can look up, this is what we're doing right now, that you can disseminate, that you can cross-reference, right? And this is all language. Language is made up by a creator, so it's created. Therefore, it is changeable. You can change it. Emanation is unchanging, the source of that creation. All right, the relationship. The universe depends entirely on the creator to exist. So the universe depends entirely on the creator, me, you, to exist. If the creator is not creating, then nothing exists. Once you stop creating, then nothing exists. Everything is as is, right? Is natural. But to affect that natural, you have to create. You have to put something in there to make it change, to make it different, to create something out of it, because it's already there. Now you are what poured out of it, but you are separate at the same time. All right, but the creator remains entirely separate, transcendent, and unaffected by the creation. So this is where I go into. I said, you guys pray to God, give me this, give me that, but he has nothing. He knows nothing. He is ignorant to all of this. He just created it. Right, and he's not affected by the creation, so he's not affected by bombings, killings, all this stuff going on in the government. It doesn't affect the creator because he's outside of his creation. Aye. Evil and imperfection. The two systems also explain imperfection is in completely different ways. In emanation, remember, is a spilling out of the natural source. It's not a creation that separates it. It's part of it still. Evil is not a created thing. It is simply the absence of good. So evil is not created. It is simply the absence of good. So depending on the creator's vision of what good is. Good doesn't mean the same to all the people. To different people, good means different things. You know, I was studying a while ago, what do they call certain type of societies that were being studied, and they were placed in certain categories to make them seem evil to that group of society that was studying that other society. Just like, you know, in history, you know, they studied us. They said that we were evil. They said that we didn't follow us, so they destroyed us. They killed us off, and they introduced the most evilest thing that there could ever be, which is creation outside of emanation, which was the creator himself, which has nothing to do with nothing here. Other than he created, he said, I'm gonna create that. Bam, there it is. He's not involved in any of this stuff. You know, and I'm saying he as a form of energy, not as a form of being, not as a form of physical as we know it to be a man. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying an energy, right? Evil is not a created thing. It is simply the absence of good. It occurs at the lowest, darkest edges of the emanation where the light of the source barely reaches. And they're saying light. You don't come from light. I keep on telling people, when you were in your mother's stomach, you were in the dark for 9 months. You came into the light, but you were in the light in that dark. You were the source of the emanation, of the creation in that source. Right? Did I say that right? Yeah, I think I did. So I'm gonna read it again. Evil is not a created thing. It is simply the absence of good. It occurs at the lowest, darkest edges of the emanation where the light of the source barely reaches. In creation, imperfection and evil are typically explained through the concept of free will, a rupture in the original design, or a cosmic rebellion rather than a lack of divine reach. So free will, doing what will, you know, which they say that, oh, that's free will. When somebody's doing something freely, they're evil. Deviant societies, that was the study I was doing. That they was studying deviant societies because that society didn't subscribe to the same type of construct that this other society, so they decided to call them deviant societies. So there you go, emanation and creation. I'll look up some other stuff for tomorrow. I think I'm going to do that maybe later, but that's the difference. So when you pray to the creator, remember he's separate from what he created, which was you. But you are a source, you are emanating from the source, because you can't exist if you didn't come out through the emanation, because he didn't create you. You were already there. Wake up, wake up. He created the physical, the material, which is all one and the same. You, it, that, everything is one and the same. You just kind of separate it, compartmentalize it, or categorize it just so that you can understand it, because somewhere along the line, we gotta look at that there was a disconnect, you know, from the emanation to creation. So that barrier, or that space, is what you need to fill. Cool. All right, so there it is. Here's today's quote for Thankful Thursday, and Thankful Thursday to you and to me too. Okay, here's one from David Steindl-Rast. I don't know who that is. I forgot. I think I studied that guy, or I introduced him. It is not joy that makes us grateful. It is gratitude that makes us joyful. David Steindl-Rast. I'm going to find out what that is. It is not joy that makes us grateful. It is gratitude that makes us joyful. There you go. Wake up, wake up. That's today's morning quote. Let's do the affirmation for today. I should have started off with that, but I wanted to break emanation and creation down just for my understanding and to share it with you. Gonna do a shoulder roll again. Shoulder rolls are important for me. Finger shaking. This is for your lymphatic system. This area here was where I had the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. You could see that this area of my body was filled with undead cells, or dead cells, should I say. So I rub that real gently to activate or to motivate the lymphatic system, because the lymphatic system does not have a pump, and it does not pump on its own. So you have to do that by doing exercise, and believe in exercise. Not believe in exercise, but exercise will keep you healthy. So stay exercising as much as you can on a daily basis, or moving, you know. Okay, today I choose to see the abundance that surrounds me. I am grateful for the breath in my lungs, the opportunities ahead, and the strength within me. I release the pressure to be perfect and embrace the joy of being present. My heart is open, my mind is clear, and I am ready to receive. It's going to say blessings of the day has to offer. I don't like using that word, but there it is. Quick shifts for the day. If you're short on time, try repeating these while you have your coffee or you get ready. I am fueled by gratitude and ready for a productive day. See how that changes? You know, people wake up, and I get it. People wake up. I'm a morning person. I do all my stuff in the morning. That's why I'm up doing this. By mid-afternoon, I'm ready to go to sleep. Wake up. So I use that to my advantage. I know that I'm a morning person because I'm aware of what I am and how I do things. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Come on in. You already know. Love you so natural. I am fueled by gratitude and ready for a productive day. This is for peace. I trade my worries for wonder and my stress for stillness. I trade my worries for wonder. I wonder. Man, I can't do this. Man, I can't do that. I don't know. Man, I got to call this person now. I can't pay this. I got to pay that. See, that's worry. Now, wonder is a whole different ball game. I wonder if I take this money, I would take this person. I wonder if I call them first, and then I wonder, see, it's curiosity, not stress, not worry. It's a whole different ball game in the way you look at life and how you say things and how you think about things, how you process those thoughts and how you respond to them. This one's for growth. I am thankful for the lessons of the week and the progress I am making. That's true. I'm grateful for the lessons of the week, and I'm grateful for the progress I'm making, which is being consistent with this channel, which again, I've had this channel since 2011. And off and on, you know, I'm getting more consistency out of the interest in me introducing this information, not just to myself, but to those who come through and say hello and stay for a while. Or for connection, I appreciate the people in my life who support and inspire me. Thank you. I appreciate you for supporting and inspiring me, because that's actually true. Here's a small gratitude challenge. Before you dive into your to-do lists, try to name 3 specific things you are thankful for right now. I'm thankful for being here, having this conversation or having this monologue. Second thing is being able to even access the internet to do this. First of all, I should say I'm thankful I'm thankful for today and being able to have the ability physically to read and to share in this life as I am now. I'm thankful for not being in a hospital when I was in the hospital for months, years. And I'm thankful for not having pain today. Alrighty. That was like 6 things, but that's good. That's good. Being grateful for 6 things is great. All right, the things that you're grateful for, they don't have to be big things. Sometimes the best things is a warm cup of coffee. I'm thankful for the cup of coffee. I'm thankful just for being able to hold a cup of coffee. I'm thankful just to be able to think that I'm thankful for the cup of coffee. Okay, all right. So here's the poem. This is the one. This is part of what I do every morning. So I hope you guys like this. This is called The Morning Bridge. Ready? The silver light of Thursday breaks as the quiet sleeping world awakes. Ooh, I like that. Not quite the end, but well on our way. A breath of grace for this brand new day. I'm thankful for the coffee's steam, for the lingering hope of a morning dream, for the strength that carried me through the week and the gentle words I've yet to speak. The weekend whispers not far out of sight, and we don't like to use that word weekend, but this is part of the poem. but I'll dwell right here in this morning light. With a heart wide open and a spirit free, grateful for all that is meant to be. I'm going to read that again. You want me to read that again? So the title is called, here we go, The Morning Bridge. The silver light of Thursday breaks as the quiet sleeping world awakes. Not quite the end, but well on our way, a breath of grace for this brand new day. I'm thankful for the coffee steam, for the lingering hope of a morning dream, for the strength that carried me through the week, and the gentle words I've yet to speak. The weekend whispers not far off sight, but I'll dwell right here in this morning light. With a heart wide open and a spirit free, grateful for all that is meant to be. I hope you enjoyed that. Well, I'm thankful for just being able to read that. I'm seeing the comments now. I have split screen. I can barely see comments when I'm on split screen. Hello, hi, so. I don't know what that is. I'm doing well. So D8E6Y. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. Somebody here says that she's a little out of control, but that's okay. So there you go. The difference between creation and emanation. You got that beautiful Thursday poem, which I'm going to read next Thursday, because that consistency, creates discipline, and discipline creates, self-love, and self-love creates a better moment in now, right? We're not thinking about tomorrow. Yesterday was yesterday. That's why it's called yesterday. So come on in, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm going to be out of here pretty soon. I got a couple of more minutes. If you have anything to say, you want to make any comments, you want to talk about something, you want to say hello, come on in. I got a little bit of time. So again, there we go. Discussed emanation versus creation. Big difference. So when people say, when you limit it, you limit your power to the source. When you select to, in words, to give power to the creator. Because remember, as I read, the creator is separate from his creation. It's the artist creating the art as opposed of the artist, right? So when he's looking at his work, or the power is not part of this. So basically, connect to the source of your emanation, not to the source of the creator, because you're limiting your power, your growth, your transcendence to a creator that is separate from you, but yet you are under its creation. You're part of what it created, but you are not part of it. You're separate. You get it? Come on in, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It's a concept that needs to be looked at. Hello, hi. How are you? Thank you for coming in and saying hello. I appreciate it. So those things are just, concepts outside of your conditioned reality of religion, right? Religion, again, is a construct of systems to control the subjects of that society. That's all it is, just like the government. So even if you were, say if you were in a tribe, which most of us aren't. I know there's tribes probably in the East, which they call the Middle East, but the other side, the old world, they all have their names, right? They all have their ancestors. They all know where they come from. They all know who they are. They know who their deities. They know who their demigods are. They practice all of this single world, one single world God, in erasing all of what and who they are and where they come from. That's why everybody's confused. Everybody's going to war. Everybody's mixed. Everybody's destroying each other. Nothing gets done. Everything is incomplete. Everybody passes away to another life unknowingly, coming back. It's just a vicious cycle of destruction and unknowing. So begin to know. Because once you know, then you want others to know. Yes, any religion. Religion means religare. So if you look at religare, regulare, which is Greek or Roman, I think, means to regulate. It means to regulate. What does regulate mean? So you look up the word regulate. and you figure out what that system is all about. But you know, it takes someone spiritually and mentally and emotionally, I say it that way because that's involved self-aware to be able to distinguish that. Because once you're able to understand these words and how they're used, and these systems and how they're used and why they're used, you're not gonna liberate yourself from the system because you're here. Right? It doesn't matter if you become rich or you become wealthy, you're still part of the system. So people, you gotta know how to work the system. You gotta work around it. No. You came to this system. You already existed. Something happened. Who knows what happened? No, you don't know yet. But you're here to experience it. That's I know we're all the same. We all know that. But we don't know that. Everybody likes to say that. We're all the same. No, we're not. We're all the same in this creation in terms of having one head, 2 arms, and 2 legs. And the same arteries and the same, but we're not the same in soul. We're not the same. Because if we were the same, none of this stuff would be going on. Everybody would want the same exact thing. But it's not true. Not everybody wants, so we're not all the same. In that sense, right? In the idealistic sense, right? Physically, we're all the same. Yeah, it's facts. You know, and then when someone is born with 2, 3 arms, they're not the same now. So now that changes. That idea that we're all the same changes if somebody's born with a defect, because now that person's not the same. We're all not the same in terms of source either. We don't all come from the same source. Because again, if we did, everything would be exactly the same. Everything would be symmetrical. And if it was, we wouldn't exist. If everything was symmetrical, there would be no differences. There would be no misunderstandings. Everything would be in unison. Everything would be complete, which would be nothing. Then there would be absolutely nothing because everything is the same. You get that? If everything is the same and you're looking at everything and everything is the same, then you're looking at nothing because there's nothing else that you can compare to what you're looking at. Wake up, wake up. You already know. Come on and love your soul natural. Listen twice and speak once. Again. But thank you for that comment. I appreciate that very much. You know, when people make comments such as this gentleman here, it makes sense because this is the teachings of those. So for instance, I was a teacher in the public school system for a long time. I'm a teacher. I like teaching. I love learning. Don't get me wrong. I will sit down in a room and I will learn. I will ask many questions, even if those questions don't seem to make any sense at the moment. That's why you ask questions. Hello, Bonnie B. Belmar. Hi, how are you? Yo, buenos dias. Wake up. Come on and love your soul, not your role. Listen twice and speak once. So it's interesting because it shows you the dynamic of the differences of us. That everybody wants to be the same. We're not the same. Nobody's the same. Even your thoughts and the things you think, that you thought that were you think were your original thoughts are not. However, these things are able to be disclosed to you, opened up to you when you begin to align yourself with your soul, not with information. All this information I'm giving you, again, is systems of thought. That's it. Philosophy. People who sat down, most of these people, listen to me right, were using psychedelics. They didn't have TVs back then. You know, they didn't have, you know, they were building these things at that point, but they did have a lot of time to sit around and think. They did have a lot of time to sit around and talk, which we don't do nowadays. We just take what they wrote at face value and say that this is the way it is. No. Untrue. So there it is. Love your soul natural. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for liking the video. But you already know. So today's Thankful Thursday. I'm thankful for your comments. I'm thankful for you joining. I'm thankful for being out here. you know, I don't, that doesn't concern me. I don't care about that guy. I don't, see, that's the problem with us. We concern ourselves with what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is thinking, what everybody else wants to, unless, you know, when you have a discussion with someone who knows, I'm not saying believing, because God is a concept. It's a concept, just like everything else. It's a system of control. Because if I didn't tell you that there was somebody watching you, because remember what I read earlier, the further away you get from the light, the darker you become, right? So the darker you become, they call it evil, but darkness is not evil until you learn what darkness really is. But anyway, in that sense, you know, people want to condition other people to follow them and make them think, group, this is what you are. This is what. That's not how it works. That's not true. That's all artificial. It's all artificial intelligence to maintain control of the masses just for power. Period. And when people, you know, religious fanatics, somebody says, I don't believe in God, they become violent. People get killed for saying they don't believe in God. Am I right? Tell me if I'm wrong. Look at that, an idea, concept, when they know in their soul that it's not true for them. So, you know, love your soul, not your role. That's my concept. That's my philosophy, is love your soul, not your role. There's nothing that you need to understand. There's nothing that you need to figure out. Everything that emanates from the source is natural. It is not a creation. Creation is artificial. It's a thought, an idea that was brought into manifestation from that thought and idea. So love your soul, not your role. You already know. Wake up, wake up. Listen twice, speak once. May knowledge fulfill you and wisdom guide you. See you on the next one.